All right. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Hey, it's Backroads from Backroads Gaming. Um, yeah, like the title says, Battle for Abenir Devlog, Day 1. Um, Unfortunately, this is kind of like a hour 250. Initially, I'd put about 200 hours into this game. Recently reformatted my computer, and like an idiot, I did not have a backup of this game. Um, so I am building everything from scratch. Um, yeah. So the game itself it's a 2D JRPG, very similar to what you would see with like Final Fantasy, back with the regular Nintendo, Super Nintendo era days. The big difference between it though is this game is going to be based in Celtic lore. So a lot of the things that you're going to be fighting against are going to be creatures that are pulled from Celtic lore. Celtic lore, you're looking at uh, Irish, Scottish, honestly, even back towards like the Britannia, way back prior to England's invasion of in Ireland. Back around the time of the Druids and stuff like that. So the game today, I kind of started on it a little bit earlier. Really, all I've been doing was focused on getting my player built, and now you can see that I'm kind of working on making some models. The models that I'm making are actually done with a sprite sheet, just making it a little easier for me to focus on. You say it's a little blurry. Double check the settings and check what you've got the quality at. You should be able to watch my ugly mug in 1080p at 60 FPS. Tell me if that clears up the blur for you. Um, yeah. So what I've been kind of building here is just kind of working on a couple of different houses. These are ones that I've kind of built throughout the day. As you can see, they are similar to each other, but they are different nonetheless. Um, I do need to, make a few tweaks to the placement and everything, but we've made some, the longer style ones. Just a few different looks, and then we have a few of the smaller houses here. And I'm gonna make probably one bigger one as well, maybe two bigger ones to represent like an inn or something like that. And then I eventually will start working on like putting together a castle. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna start working on the inn. Now, what I've done, just so you can kind of see what I've got here, this list that I've got put together is actually a list of the sprites off of my sprite sheet that I've got to pull. Um, the one thing that I have here, you can see the end for the left side. You got left side the spanner, which is going to be the kind of what bridges the gap in the middle, and then the right side. Now I don't have the front right, so I'm going to have to double check that. But let's go ahead and get started, and we'll put this one together. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create an empty object. Let's just make it an even 39 minus 30 minus 1. Even blocks. Go ahead and jump in on it, and let's call this one large home slash in. Alright, so now I'm going to jump into my art tab. I'm going to go into my imported art. And a lot of the imported art that I'm using is from RPG World. I will actually go ahead and probably throw a link down in the description to some of their art assets. They're all able to be purchased right through the Unity store. Right, but the one that I've been focusing on is the RPG World's houses and interiors. Now they do have a couple of lovely little things done here. You can't necessarily see if I can turn my head. Let's move my chair. Here we go. Right here, where it says sliced. If you open that, they've already got it ready to go for you. So all I have to do is expand it out, and then yeah, just got to get started. So let's shoot down, and we'll find 258, which should start right about here. There we go. So we'll go ahead, we'll pull it in, and what I'm doing is just pulling in the different sprites, and these sprites are all going to be pulled out. Oh wait, no, that's the wrong ones. No, it's not. That's the right ones. Tell you what I can do though. Check this out. Bang. Bang. Instead of building it from scratch completely, what I can do is I can jump into my prefab section here. Grab house A. Go ahead and completely unpack it. And let's call this, oops, large house / in. Let's say extra large house / in. All right, here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump in, and I have it kind of labeled out. You got the left side, which is here, the spanner here, left face, and the in for the left side. So I'm going to go ahead, and that's gone. The spanner, maybe we'll take out a portion of it. There we go. Just do that. Get that one out of there really quick. There we go. Now let's jump into the right section. So we're going to go back into the art. Go to the import RPG world. It's grasslands, towns, houses. Sliced. So I need to start with 263. Where we got 263? Is that you? Here we go. Alright, so let's minimize that, and let's add another empty. We're going to call this right side. Duplicate it, and we'll say right side face. And then under each of these, what I've been doing is I've been creating rows. Row. And the reason why I'm doing that and creating rows under each of these is when I go through and work on my tile palettes, there's going to be, the game's actually going to be, it's what's called 2.5D. If you've never worked with it, basically it is taking a 2D game and giving it 3D aspects to give it a 3D feel. Adds a little bit more depth to the game. Doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna be the super coolest, most awesomest thing in the world, but definitely a nice little route to go with it. Okay, and then what I do when I get to that point is I change the layers of each row. And what that allows me to do, excuse me, is hide some of it on my over my player. Okay, 286. 87, 88, 89, 90. Okay, there we go. And just tear them together. And pressing V is what's allowing me to really snap these really quickly. And this devlog is also kind of a little bit of a tutorial thing. It's going to be a long-winded one. Now, with this game, one of the great things about it is, you know, there's a lot of different JRPGs that are out there, but the part that really sets it apart for me is uh, the Celtic aspect. You know, there's not a lot of games that, at least not that I know of, that are based around Celtic lore. You know, there's a few games that have aspects of Celtic lore, such as like Smite, There's probably a few other ones, but that's the only one I can think of off top of my head. And realistically, the only aspects of it is, fighting and anger, um, and there was so much more to uh, the the Celtic mythology and heritage and everything like that. And I thought hopefully I could make this game and do my Celtic heritage some justice, but also bring back that nostalgic feel. I can't even begin to tell you how many hours I spent playing Final Fantasy back on the regular Nintendo and the Super Nintendo. 31 through 35, 53 through 57. And I actually picked up the SNES Classic and the NES Classic. The SNES Classic was for Final Fantasy 3, the US release, not the chronological release, but the US version. Um, and let's see if this will work here. Oh, a little bit bigger than that. Hey, it works. Sweet. All right, and then what I'll do is I'll actually jump up here really quick. And I'm going to play around with a couple of things. Maybe set a log pile here or something. I probably set a log pile in the middle. Let's jump back into my lovely little sprite editor. And this is actually where I go to pull these details out here. Um so no, I don't think the log pile is gonna work there. However, we can fit a couple other things in there. So let's hop out of here really quick. Go ahead and delete that. There is some stuff that is decorative, so let's look in the sprite editor for decorative. There we go. So we got log piles right here that we could probably fit in. So what do we got? Prop 3, 4, 13, and 14. 3, 4, 13, 14. All right, so 3. No, 3. Here we go. 3 and 4 and 13 and 14. There we go. Now, with this game, the way whoops, that's not what I meant to do. While I'm getting this set up, it's going to be something that I'm probably not going to be doing a ton of like live devlogs. Right side face. We're just gonna axe that. Yep, that's gone. Thank you, Muse. Yeah. So this is allowing me to duplicate these over and over again. Um, and yes, it is a what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, this is on a sprite sheet, so I could effectively, if I wanted to, go in and just paint these log stack. We'll just call that a log stack. Um, but by doing this, to me it just makes it to where I can move this and do it so much more and so much faster. Um, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna rename it really quick, and we're gonna do large NA. I'm gonna jump into the prefabs that I've got here. buildings, drag that in, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to unpack it again, pack it completely. And what I'm going to do in the unpacking process, I'm going to jump into slice section again. Oops. Of the house, and take a look back at my sprite editor. And I want to put up this. Ooh, that is not the one I meant to go into. There we go. Sprite editor. So if we plug that in, let's see here. What can we get? 139. 139, 159. So if I go through, zoom in here, you. Let's just do this. See what we can delete here. There we go. Really? It only took that one? Alright, so let's jump down. Let's find 139. Is that it? No, that's not it. 139. Here we go. Put that in, and then I'll click it here. Drag that in, and I'll click it there. Drag. No, that's not what I meant to do. Drag that in, and I'll click it there. Now, the bottom does not look like I want it to, so we're going to click on that, delete that out. And that one should be I can stop double clicking on stuff right here. There we go. Another quick, super easy way to modify your houses. Right side face. There we go. And then rename this one Bravo. All right, so that'll give me a good starting point. And let's jump into my prefabs, buildings. Okay. And actually, I want to edit this one. Let's take out the log stack. Delete that. Save that. And instead, let's look what else is in the got to go 2 across. So let's go ahead and do 104, 105. 105. It's raining?
Like the past few days in a row.
No, not really.
Hi.
Empty crop. There we go. So now this one is nice and set up. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to get this out of here. And then I'm going to jump back over to the grid that I've got designed. And what I do is just a quick little building layer. So while we're here, let's go ahead and start working on getting the imports in here with the stuff that I need. In my package manager, I've gotten a ton of assets because it is one where being an indie developer, you want to have a nice repertoire. Now, I personally have Orc Framework, Now, this is going to be one of those that I have to rebuild it because it has been a long while since I worked with it. But you've got Orc Framework 2 and Orc Framework 3. Um, I'm probably going to work with the second one just because I was able to. I felt this one was a little bit more intuitive. So I'm going to go ahead and import it really quick. Is that a. What's on your head? Is that a bra on your head, Muse? Oh my. So, yeah. The game itself, though, I do hope is one that's going to turn out well. Um, when I had it working before, I had quite a few things put together, and the game was actually working very well. Unfortunately, like I said, losing everything kind of was a kick in the teeth. Um, so what I'll do tonight, just to kind of finish up, once I get Orc put in here, I'm gonna go ahead and create a couple of extra scenes really fast, and just to make sure that I've got everything working. So let's jump into my scenes. Let's go ahead and we're gonna create a folder. We're gonna call this Strandveer, which was the name of the first town. We're gonna do create scene Strandveer in, create a scene Strandveer item shop. Woo! Shop, not shoop. Okay, we're gonna call this one. Get rid of that for one. Strandveer armor shop. Duplicate that. Weapon shop. Rename that. I think I've already got the inn. Strandveer old man's house, which actually will tie into a quest later on. So we got the item shop, the weapon shop. Okay, let's duplicate it again, and we're gonna call this one abandoned house. No, we're gonna call this one house A. Duplicate that. B. Duplicate that. C. All right, it's gonna give me kind of a range of things here. So let's go. I'm gonna create a couple folders. We're gonna call this shops and houses. And this is just one of those um, to me helps with organization. Oops. When you do it right. There we go. So we should have house A, B, C, old man's house, shops, armor in item weapon. Armor in item weapon. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay. So let's go ahead, jump into my buildings really quick. Let's throw an inn up here. Ooh, okay. So here is part of one of the things that I have to do that I didn't do. Anywho, I wonder if it's going to let me do this or if I have to do it individually, because that's going to suck if I have to do it individually. Let's open the prefab really fast. What? Where's my grid? Just turn the grid off real quick. There we go. Okay. Open. Yep, I'm gonna have to do it individually. All right, so default solid object. So wait, I should be able to put that. Okay, that ain't gonna work. So this part's gonna take me a little while because I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing and not building it as I went. So what I've created are many different layers to allow me to properly lay and add some more depth to uh, the world, if you will. You know, being able to not rock shadow. Um, Being able to throw different layers of design. It's going to allow me to put in oh, excuse me. It's going to allow me to put in a lot more what's the word I'm looking for? Um Nuanced changes uh to the different layers. So when I go to make my 2.5D portion of it, it's as simple as placing it and having my player walk behind it. So if we shrink that down now, we turn my grid back on. Yay, it works. But as you can see, it's freaking massive. So let's go ahead and drop this down to like a 0.25, 0.25, 0.25. And let me go let my dogs out. Hang on one second. I'll be right back, guys. Come on, dog. Go potty. Okay, my apologies. I'll have to edit that out of the video. Alright, so now we got our player put together. Let's jump in and go closer, see what we're working with here. We're going to pull the camera off now that I don't need it. Alright, so we could honestly make this a little bit bigger. Let's set him there by the door. Let's go with a 0.4. Does that work? That doesn't feel too bad. I think we can work with that. Alright, so let's jump into my houses here. With I gotta do it for all of them. Okay, this is gonna suck. And see, this is what the devlog is for. That way, when I go through and work on this game in the future, I know where I'm at and I know what not to do. And you know, for anybody that is watching live, if you do have questions, please feel free to ask. I will admit I am not the latest and greatest or the best and the brightest, but you know, I know enough to get myself in trouble, if you will. 0.4, 0.4, 0.4. And that one, I don't think we're gonna really need. May wind up making this level a bit wider. Maybe bump up the player's movement speed. Okay, so we'll go through and adjust each of these, and then once we get them into the game itself, you'll see why I have it set for rows. Um, and I could actually probably work this right now to make this a little faster. Player, player. Okay. So this will be a real easy way to show you guys the 2.5D aspects of it. With a lot of the games back with the Super Nintendo and the regular Nintendo, it was 2D. You knew it was 2D, and there was no way around it. But with a couple of simple clicks, a few minor tweaks, you can take a 2D house, put it down to a 0.4 again, and if we grab our player here, bring him down, when he's in front of it, as you can see, he's. Where's my camera? We'll just do this. We'll put it in the game here. There we go. Doesn't have any what's the word I'm looking for? It does not have the colliders. Sorry, that's the word I was looking. I could not think of the word for me to save my life. But here we go. Pull it up, hit play real quick, and you can see how the 2.5D functions. So the area where you're seeing the players, of course, it's a solid object area, which is below the player's um, their layer in the order. But when the player gets up here and starts to walk behind the house, well, there you go. Now the player disappeared. He's back out. Oh, wow. Yay. It works. So that's 2.5D. But anywho, we'll have to build into that the colliders. Okay. That's you. So let's go ahead and turn that into the item shop. That is not what I hit. Excuse me, sir. Item shop. There we go. W. Kind of place this around here. Which one is this? Do I want to go with that one? Yeah, I want to go with that one. Put the large house, and we'll open this up. And we'll go ahead and do the whole top row there. That is going to be above player. Second row is going to be above player. But I need to get my grid turned off. You know what? We don't got to turn the grid off. We're just going to do this. Pull it over here. There we go. And open again. So row 1 done. Row 2 done. Row 3, where are you at? Yeah, I'm going to make row 3 above player as well. Everything else is going to be not above player. That will be solid object. That will be solid object. All right, here we go. We're getting into our spanner now. So our spanner is going to be above the player for 2 rows. Yeah, maybe even 3 rows. I think we might just do 2 rows for the spanner. That's going to be solid object. That's going to be solid object. And that's going to be solid object. The left face, the whole thing is going to be solid object. And there's probably a better way to do this to click the things that you want and be able to get all of the different layers at one time. But, you live and you learn. Okay. Now, the end is a little different. So the end will be above player. We're gonna go maybe 2 rows down above player. Maybe I think we're doing 3 rows down above player. And then everything else will be solid objects. Now, when you're the naming space, probably not the best for me, but everybody has their own way of naming and labeling. Um, I actually love to talk to folks about their namespaces and why they do one over another. Yeah, I definitely think we're gonna have to make this. Let's go ahead and widen this up actually a little bit. Grassland, Maine. Now, I have made a couple of tile maps. One mainly for just my terrain, and then the other one that I have is actually what you're seeing here, so I could be able to paint that. Oh my goodness! So I could be able to paint it right in. Um, but I think having the prefabs, it takes a little bit more time up front, but makes it a little bit faster in the long run. I think I could be wrong. I definitely don't know. But I know that I did just mess up. That needs to be on the base ground. There we go. Jump onto the water section. Make that a little larger. Let's go ahead, jump back to the ground section. Make that a bit larger. Cut that out a bit there. Cut that out a bit there. There. Make that a little larger. All right, let's see how that works. So we got to jump in and let's adjust this. Let's call this armor shop, and we'll call this one the inn, and we'll call this one names house. Insert names house. We'll do that. Insert names. There we go. We got insert name house A. We got the inn. We got the item shop. We got the armor shop. And this one is going to be the weapon shop. And then again, we just have to jump into the prefab itself. Open it up. Okay, row 1 through there. Default above player. Row 2. Just going to go 3 down. I think is what we're going to work with here. Above player. 3 down. Above player. Row 4 is definitely going to be solid object. 5 solid object. All right, onto the spanner. Main house. 2, 3. Do that above player. 4. Do that solid object. There we go. All right, left face, row 1. You. Solid object. And this, so for today's devlog, it's really just about building building the foundation for the stuff that I'm going to need for later on. Okay, in for the left side. Row 2. That's 3 rows. Default. Above player. That one should be right there. Okay, so you. Oop. Not you. You. That will be solid object. And then jump back. Click on you. Okay, point 4, point 4, point 4. Okay, that works there. Let's go ahead and rebuild this one really quick. Open. Okay. Let's do this. 1, 2, 3. This might be a little faster. I think this is going to be faster since we know how we're doing this. Okay. Above player. You can close. You can close. You can close. You all the way down through you. Take out 8, 7, 6, 5. Default. Solid object. Okay. That one definitely went a lot faster. Let's go ahead and adjust these while we're into the prefab section. Excuse me. We're going to call this one Old Man's House. And then we'll take and let's jump down here. Let me see. Locked. Whoa, that is not cool. F2. Locked house. So this house is actually not going to be accessible. Let's open that and let's adjust that 0.4, 0.4, 0.4. Okay, so W. Put you here. Insert names. House. Okay, and actually gonna make another one because we got a couple of insert name houses. We're gonna place them in different locations, and then we're gonna duplicate that one, and we're gonna go insert name house. Now again, this is just getting it quickly plugged together. Got the one guy that lives out by himself as a hermit, you know. Okay, so that's set there. Let's go ahead and let's create an empty. We're gonna call this buildings. Again, this is just one of those things to try to help keep the, oh my goodness, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, Try to keep the hierarchy a little organized. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna jump back into my scenes really quick. We're gonna change this to. Yep, you're gonna reload it. That's cool. I got you saved. We're good. All right. So now, this is my main scene for this particular town. Briefly set up. Still gonna be some major adjustments made. But for now, it works. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna open up my windows here really quick, and I'm gonna open up the org framework window. Throw that up top here as I shrink this down. And I'm gonna open up my orc scene wizard. Now, for anybody that has ever used orc, it is phenomenal. So instead of going through and writing, 10, 20 lines of code to be able to transition from each of these things individually, check this out. Okay, so create an empty. Where's that at? Yep, we gotta fix something really quick. I did a boo boo. I did not put my game object at a 0. This one is going to be work objects. Now, under this tab, I already know what I'm going to make. So I'm going to go ahead and just make one empty, and I'm going to duplicate it a couple times. And I'll tell you what we're doing as we're going through it. We're going to call it transitions. We're going to call it spawn points. We're going to call it interactables. For now, I don't need that third one. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a game starter in a minute. We're not going to add that yet, but we're going to create some objects. We're going to create some spawn points, and we're going to go ahead and duplicate them. And let's name them as we go through. From in. Move that over here. Go to my next one. From weapon shop. And let's find where our weapon shop is again. Where's it at? There it is. So from weapon shop, we'll go right over here. And next up is from item shop. And our item shop is where again? Right over there. All right. So let's just drag it over there. Fine tuning in a little bit. This is really more so just getting it put together. From armor shop, which is down here. Okay. From old man's house. And then we'll do from insert name house. And then what we're going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead. I'm going to enter that. And I'm going to delete that one. And we're going to go 1, 2. All right. So number 1, number 2, and number 3. Okay, so now we got all of those put together. Let's minimize that. Open up my work objects, and we're going to put it as spawn points. Cool. Transitions. We're going to do scene changers. All right, so let's go ahead and 1, 2, 3. Okay. 2 in. And again, this will be adjusted in just a minute. Oh, well, not maybe in just a minute, but we will get this adjusted with the next devlog that we do. Item shop to weapon shop. To armor shop. And then we'll create 2 more. Duplicate. To old man's house. Okay. And then to insert names house. And in this one, we're going to go ahead and duplicate 2 more times. Same as before. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then we can pull these right into my transitions. Now let's go ahead and do some adjusting. So 2 in. super easy, right? Everything looks good. Now, uh, you do not want to place on ground when you're doing 2D. So that is something that you're going to want to change. The game itself. Oh, well, okay. So place on ground. Should have changed this to begin with instead of just having to click it every time. Work smarter, not harder. I'm not doing that right now. So when you place it on the ground in a 2D thing, your ground is actually down here, but we want the ground to be front and back. So that's kind of where that seems to be a hiccup. So that's all set. When we go through and we start putting everything together, we'll need to know the spawn point number. So from in is 0. That one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So each of these spawn points now have their very own ID, 0 through 7. So there's a total of 8 of them. Now, when you go into each individual scene, you're going to get something very similar to that. Excuse me. And the very similar to that portion is a little different than you would overall think. So I tell you what, let's go ahead and do this. Let's make a new tile map, and let's go ahead and design a few of the um, let's go ahead and design a few of the buildings. So action interior, create new palette, interior design. Let's do interior layout. We're going to create that, and we're going to create it under my art, tile palettes, and this one's going to be called new folder RPG. And actually, you know what? We'll just create it right under this one, right there. Select folder, and we'll just drag the interior onto here. And we'll go to art, tile palette, houses interiors, select folder. Creating a tile palette does take a few minutes. So yeah, we'll get that going real quick. Man, have I really been live working on games like this? You blink and time has flown by. It's already 10 o'clock. So I tell you what we'll do. I'll go ahead and we will get this set up to design one building. And just only take a few more minutes here. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get the inside of, let's say, the item shop. We'll get the item shop done really quick. And while that's loading, let's pull up Unity. Let's look at some of the 2D assets that are available. Okay, asset store. Get that out of the way. Let's take a look at some 2D assets here real quick. Hello. Here we go. Let's see, 2D shops. A lot of the stuff that they have is going to be like your UI stuff. A lot of the stuff that I'm looking for though is more like uh, interior design, so to speak, like being able to put up countertops. I may have to go through and create my own. That's a background pack. That might actually work for one of the other games that I'm developing. Um, I may need to go through and make my own, or see if I can find the art somewhere else. Um, but yeah, so village pixel art. So this is nice for like a little 2D game that you're making it, for background or like a platformer. That would be something amazing. Um, yeah, that looks like it's really well designed. We'll look at it later. Okay, so we're going to click here, save this scene, and let's jump scenes. Let's go ahead and we said we're going to do the item shop. So scenes, Tranvere, shops, item shop. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a 2D object, tile map, rectangular. Okay, we're going to call this one ground. Do, 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 do. Two walls. To decor, furniture, to furniture, decor, and we'll just do above player. All right, so item shop's not going to be super big. So let's go ahead and make sure this grid is set 0, 0. And we're also going to pull in our player real quick, just so we have, again, perspective of how big this is. Let's grab a floor setup. What do we want the floor to look like? We're going to do this one. So let's go like that. Not super big. If we hit play, how long does it take our player to walk from one end to the other? Not long. So let's move our camera a little bit. W, over. There we go. Play. All right, so our player walks in. That's kind of long, so we might shrink that down here. Ground. Let's go ahead and axe that and axe that. Significantly smaller, doesn't need to be huge. Okay, so let's put the walls up really quick. Ground. That'll be default. That's fine. Zoop, zoop, zoop. I might need to beef up my character size. Yeah. So let's go ahead and put him at 2, 2, 2. So we're gonna have to go through and resize our buildings again. Which now it's gonna be a lot easier. So not such a big deal. Alright, so now if we hit play, covers a distance half the time. Okay, no, we're good. That's fine. Okay. We'll go ahead and put that in real quick. Whoa now. Whoa, Nelly. All right, pull that down there. Okay, and then we're gonna take and put that right there. Okay, so oh my goodness, that I think I just really screwed up that. Walls. Okay, no, we're good. So we're actually going to take, and the last thing that I did is not going to go in there. Son of a. So where I just screwed up was I did not. Um, I did a mistake that I make quite frequently. You think of by now I would have fixed this. Um, what I always forget to do is no, excuse me. I always forget to click on the layer that I'm working on. Don't ask me why, but it's just something that I do almost every single time that I'm working on my designs. Um, you would think by now that I've learned my lesson, but I guess I'm just a glutton for punishment. You know what I mean? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete this section out from the walls. And on the walls, I am going to add a component. Maybe. Add a component. Let me take a look at the colliders that are on here. Edge collider, mesh collider, polygon, sphere, train, tile map collider 2D. There we go. And then I'm going to add that in with it, but I'm not going to do this one. Now, the reason why I'm not doing that one is when I push play, let's bring my player down a little bit so he's not colliding. If I push play, our player now, well, in theory, should not be walking through the walls. Um, let's go to dynamic, zero mass, zero gravity scale. Let's try that, see if that fixes it. Because he should not be walking through the walls. There we go. So he walks up. He can't go past that. He can't go past that. Can't go there. He can't go there. But he can exit. And that's what we want. I want him to be able to exit the building. Um, so I might actually make this a little bigger because that does seem kind of cramped. Uh, walls. Let's go ahead and let's make it about. What we got here? How does that work? How does that look? Is that too big? It might be a little too big, so let's do this. Let's cut it off right here for now, just to see what it looks like. Oops. Okay. That's still going to be there. Oops, nope, don't want that one. There we go, that's the one I want. There and there. Yoink. That sounds like my son just got home from work. Go, ground. Hey, dog. Are you serious? They come out, they let the dog in. to the studio with me. Ooh, is make sure I'm not getting any text messages from my wife. um, they let the dogs here into the studio, and they leave my garage. They leave my studio door propped open, which is it's my garage, so it's it can do that, but I'm complaining about bugs. Get him, Ro. Okay. Well, colliders are in there, so we're good with that. Yeah. So that looks good. So let's go ahead and see what we can find here. Go lay down. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do this. Create an object. Spawn point. We're going to call this from Strander. It's going to be set to 0. W. Put that right there. We're going to create an object. Scene changer. We're going to call this to Strander. Now, one thing that I change, I take off this sphere collider. Remove component, add component, box collider 2D. Now, the reason why I do that is I don't want this giant sphere out there. Target scene, we're going to go Strander. Spawn ID, target type. Position, spawn ID, scene position, variable. All those are things you can put in. I use the spawn ID because that means it's going to spawn right where I want it to. So make sure this looks right here. Oh, the dog's barking. He wants to go inside. So let's save that. And let's delete my character. So that is set now. So spawn ID 0, going to spawn ID 0. So we'll save that, and we'll go to the Strandver item shop. We'll go back to our scenes, go to Strandver, go to the main town, and we'll find our item shop, which is right here. Okay, so this one, we're going to do the same thing. Remove, add. Now, it is a lot smaller than it needs to be. We found that out recently. So, Strandver item shop is now my target scene.
I was playing like a pill like all day.
Okay, we'll take a look at it, buddy. So let's go ahead.
So I had to shut like a pill down.
Okay, that's fine.
Now what am I supposed to do?
I don't know what you're supposed to do. So let's do this. Let's hide these really fast. Sounds like your brother's home. Yep. So he's at 2. So let's go ahead and bring him down right here. We'll go to this one. One. Way too big. 0.6. 0.6. How's that look? 0.75. 8. Oh, not yep. Whoop, way too big. 0.8. 0.8.
What happened?
I just made something way too big, buddy. Is all.
Was the house?
All right. So.
Was it the house?
Yep, it was the house. 5. Looks like 0.85 is going to be my happy median. All right. So. Open. All right, so that one's good there.
Look.
Overrides. Let's see here.
Look down.
Virtual.
Huh? I heard you.
So looks like
I heard you
0.85 will
from
be the happy medium
No,
of
you
all of
don't
them.
need to told me and Dad. They heard you. Come home.
How was work, son?
Good.
Oh, good.
Not good. Because I got switched off freaking
Dad, look.
table to do
Look,
what's it
it's
called?
Triangle.
Drive-through.
Okay.
I was not really liking drive-through.
Dad, look, it's a triangle. A triangle. I
Cool.
got 3 triangles.
Yeah, so it looks like I'm gonna have to finish fixing this stuff up, and then we'll work on it next time. We'll catch you guys on the next log.